Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, introducing you to my beginner's guide to beating Ninja Gaiden Sigma on Master Ninja. What this is going to be, folks, is this is not going to be a karma run, this is not going to be a display of skill, this is literally going to be an average Joe look of how to get through the game with strategies that will work for the people that don't have the time to invest, 100 plus hours in getting really good. It's just going to be, some cheesy strategies, some cheap moves to spam, all that kind of good stuff to get through there and hopefully get that shit done. But there you go, the highest plateau amongst the ranks of Master Ninja. This is a journey to hell, so you know you're in business. So this is the first chapter entitled Way of the Ninja, and this is one of the most difficult levels of a game you'll play. As soon as you land, you want to be charging an ultimate technique or an essence technique, depending on which one you manage to get off. As soon as you kill the flame ninja, a second one will spawn behind you. There he is. So you want to be charging off of the essence of the previous guy and cleaning him up quickly. So for anybody that doubts the difficulty in the videos, you literally can't do them on this game because you don't fight those guys on any other difficulty than Master Ninja. You would normally take on windmill shuriken guys if you were on very hard, and the earlier difficulties you just take on normal ninjas or purple ninjas. But the very first part of this level is a nightmare to new players because you're taking on probably the most aggressive and most fierce enemies in close quarters with a Ryu that does not have the abilities to fight back. Don't get me wrong, you can still win, you can still do it really well because you are a powerful character, you just don't have any of the moves that make it easier. And for this fight here, you can generally drop down to this platform and charge an essence technique to get the guys, but this fight kind of goes a little rough and I start getting knocked about a bit, but as long as you keep holding block, you shouldn't have too much of an issue. And then you can try and move to a better position, charge up your weapon, do what you want to do. If I were to do this perfectly, I would have probably got the ET, which is the essence techniques. You're going to hear a lot of jargon in this guide, folks. You're going to hear me mentioning techniques in acronyms and things. So if I ever say ET, it means a blue version of the charge Y. If I say UT, it means a fully charged Y where I do the combo afterwards. So just be aware when I say that. This bit here, you can completely miss these guys, but you'll notice I'm having a hard time trying to get up the damn fucking path up here, because I'm really nervous when I was playing this, because this is hard. There's also a fight here with two guys that I completely skip because the reason this is difficult is there's no checkpoints between save points, and you don't get a save point until you do a load of fights. And the fights on Master Ninja are difficult, so when you die you go all the way back to those first guys that I took on. And this is pretty much me panicking my way through the game to get to that save point. As soon as I get to that save point, I know I can play properly, then I know I can relax and I can play like I want to play. But in this room, you're going to take on a bunch of the flame ninjas and a black spider ninja. If you do the wall jumps, where you just run up the wall and press Y and come down, it is a really damaging technique. It's really cheap because the enemies have a lot of trouble hitting you, but at the same time it is the safest way to take them out if you're not comfortable in doing so. So once you've done that, if you pick up the lives of the 1,000 gods, I use it immediately to get my life extended. I probably should have waited for the essence, the blue essence, and then used that to fill my life, but I didn't. Because I know this next room is a forced fight against, I think, 12 ninjas. But once you've done it, then you can get to the save point and you're okay. But getting past this fight is hard. And this entire gauntlet at the start, for anybody that's not practiced at the game, who's not confident in fighting, who's not, pretty good, you're going to have a lot of issues with it. So when you come into here, one technique you can use is those pots in the other room. If you smash them, they'll release essence. If you hold block, you will not absorb the essence. You can actually move into this room and then charge one of the UTs, which is the hold Y button, and it'll drag the essence from the other room and enable you to kill 1 or 2 ninjas off of the spawn. But I didn't do that. I did the amateur way, which is I'm going to spam the wall jumps. As soon as I see any essence lying around, I'm going to do the on-landing UTs, which, for anybody that doesn't know, when you jump away, the second you land on the ground, if you hold Y, you will do a faster ultimate technique, or UT, and that will enable you to do those really good, powerful moves that you just saw me do. And you'll notice, I tried to do the ET then, but I got clipped, because I was getting really cocky, and I was kind of just spamming jump and not having any real knowledge of where I was going. There's another on-landing charge that you can do. That managed to take 2 of them out. I know this guy's on his own, so I finish him off. 2 more drop in. Bouncing off the wall, do the technique. I should really be going for the UT. There it is. That is the on-landing ultimate technique to get those two guys down. That guy has a go at me, but luckily enough, blocking really helps. And the main strategies of fighting in this game is pretty much block all the time, but as defensive as you are, you need to try and be offensive, because if you block too much and you're not moving, the enemies will grab you, and if they grab you, they do a massive amount of damage. This room right now, you can pick up these items, but I will be coming back through here, and instead of fighting these guys, because I don't want to die and go back to that previous start of the game, I push past them. And in this room there is a chest to your side just here, with a great spirit of the Elixir, and this room's going to spawn enemies that are going to come through that sash there, so chop him, get through. This room's a pain in the arse, because you fall through that and it's a really bad camera, but it's okay because this is where you need to go. A lot of people tell you not to open the chests in this area because there's bats in them, but the bats themselves aren't too bad, and if you kill them with the shurikens, they will generally drop life. They'll drop the blue essence, which you can use to get your health back. Be warned though, the bats for some reason are explosive. Somehow they manage to strap C4 to the tiny little bodies and turn into absolute bastards, so you just want to be careful of that, because if you get too close and you try and do sword attacks, they'll blow up and they'll do a lot of damage. But just spam your shurikens, get your life back, and there's going to be a little cut coming up here, because what I did is, because I was in such a rush and I was terrified that I was going to fail and go back to the start, I didn't pick up the fangs of the samurai on this part here, and I ended up getting to the save point and coming back. But for the purposes of this video, to make it a little shorter, I've cut out me looping all the way back round, and I now have, this is my second run through this area, so I knew these guys were going to be there. Usually if you charge up the ET or the UT, you'll have enough time to do it. You'll notice just then I did a flying swallow, which is a move you get from the room that I skipped. That's how I managed to go back through and come up onto this balcony. It is a really powerful move, and if the enemy doesn't block it, you will kill them in maybe 1 or 2 hits. The only problem with it, guys, is if you get a little bit too, spam happy, you'll end up getting caught, because it is not a move to rely on. There is a lot of recovery frames after you do it, but there is a really useful technique where once you do your flying swallow, after you've hit the person, or if you miss the person, if you press B or circle, you will do shurikens, and then if you press Y directly afterwards, or triangle, you'll come down with a stab attack, which completely eradicates those recovery frames, which is really useful. But with the fangs of the samurai, you put them in the dude's mouth, it gives you the key of courage, which is the key to the area where we're going to be fighting another gauntlet of ninjas, and then eventually will lead to Murai, who is the first boss of the game. But right now, I've saved, so I can get, happy-go-lucky, but these are a couple fights you do not have to fight unless you want to get better at the game, or you want to prove your skill, or you're going for a karma run or something like that. And as I've mentioned, people, this is literally going to be me doing the techniques that I know that work to get you through the game. I'm not going to be doing fancy combos. I'm going to be doing a lot of Izuna drops. I'm going to be doing a lot of, wind paths and on-landing ultimate techniques. I'm going to be using the flying swallow. I'm going to be showing you a couple of safe spots that I've seen from, massively more advanced players than myself, and just a handful of different things. But this room here is difficult. Make sure you go back to the save point after you kill those first 2 ninjas so that you can keep coming from the save point to fight this room. Usually what I would do here is I would jump over that balcony to my left and start charging my ultimate technique, because the ninjas have to run around to you, and it worked to treat against the windmill shuriken guys on very hard. But on Master Ninja, these guys kept hitting me with shurikens, and I was using the camera to make sure they weren't on screen to kind of deter them from doing it, but it didn't seem to have an effect, and I kept getting killed. So instead, I just thought, I'm going to spam the wall technique, I'm going to get as much essence as I can in the room, and then I'm just going to start doing UTs and kicking ass. And if you ever knock a ninja on the ground, if you press Y, you will stab him in the back, and it usually finishes them off and kills them like that. Sometimes they might take more than 1 if you haven't hurt them enough, but just stay patient. Keep looking for the next UT, the next ET, and that fight is a lot harder than it looks. Obviously, I fought it as cheesily as I could, but trust me, people, this game is hard. And it's hard because it's a challenge. It's not hard because it's bullshit. It's a legitimate challenge. But what I would advise you to do once you've done that little encounter is go all the way back to the save point. Because if I've not made it clear yet, when you die, there is no mid-level checkpoints. Even though it loads mid-level, which is really frustrating, it does not checkpoint. So if I died on that fight, I would be back at the save point before I'd even killed those guys on the bridge. But that is the first part to Chapter 1 down, folks. If you've made it this far, my hat goes off to you. This shit is not easy. But thanks for watching, and you take care now.